Hello everyone, my name is Alex.
My name is Robert.
And I'm Nick.
And we are your Mugiwara Authority, your source for all things One Piece. This is a One Piece podcast where we know everything.
Because we do.
Because we do. We love One Piece. It is April 9th, 2014. Chapter 744 just came out. 744, The Revolutionary Chief of Staff. And motherfucker was it bomb as shit. Oh, it was so good. Go, Robert. Talk about it a little bit.
I really have no words for it. Like, there's just craziness the entire time. Usopp becoming basically Jesus.
Basically God. He was like giant Jesus.
He was. I think we've determined that Usopp is the savior of the giants.
Oh, that's gonna play a factor in Elbaf for sure, don't you think?
He's already helped out 4 other giants.
Do you think he's gonna lead a crew of giants?
Dude, that would be insane.
Yeah,
That would be crazy. I think I support that.
I am down for that shit. I have like a vision in my head when the series is over where the crew kind of disbands, sort of like Roger's crew.
Yeah.
And I just imagine Usopp with a crew of giants now. I imagine like Nami on a cloud. She's like Storm from X-Men, you know? She just like controls the weather. She does what she wants.
Well, they already kind of nicknamed her like a wizard.
Yeah.
Like basically a weather mage.
Yeah. And
So-
she's just getting better and better, you
Yeah.
know? So same thing with Usopp. He's going to have like total control over all these crazy giants. It's going to be awesome.
That's 5 people that owe him a debt right now.
And Dory and Brokey are legendary amongst the giants. They're not just any giants, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man,
They're captains in their own right.
it was hilarious. He was like in pain. He was like, "Don't you see I'm bleeding?"
He's like, screw you, put me down or whatever. And they took it to mean like, I am your savior.
Well, he still made the right move though, and like they were like, "What do you want us to do?" He was like, "Wreck shit up." Just
Basically,
fuck things up.
yeah, destroy that tower, save my friends.
Man, what a good chapter. I loved everything about this chapter. The way Dressrosa is panning out is it's fucking amazing. It's climaxing right now. You know, it's getting
Yeah,
there.
it's getting close to the end. It feels like.
Oh, it's really good. I like that we get to see a Logia learn how to use a Logia.
Yeah, because he's kind of like. We have Sabo here. He just ate the Maramara.
He ate it.
He just ate it. He was just like, "This is mine, right? Right."
I love that
Takes
there
a
was.
huge bite.
I love that we didn't have any build up into him eating it. He was just like, "I'm gonna eat it." And it was awesome. And then he used a fire fist that he had no control over, and he fucking ruined everything.
Destroyed it, dude. Perfect timing for him to destroy that too.
Also in this chapter,
it amplified Usopp as giant Jesus.
oh, I know, which was hilarious. God damn, this chapter was so funny. We learn that in this chapter, Sabo is the second in command in the Revolutionary Army.
Yes. There's another thing. There's something that bothers me about that.
Go ahead.
It either bothers me or it kind of just goes to show how knowledgeable Doflamingo's crew is. They point that out. It's just like low level subordinates of the Doflamingo crew that point out that he's number 2 in the Revolutionaries.
Well, Dragon's famous.
Yeah, Dragon's famous. If Sabo's famous as number 2 of the Revolutionaries, how is it that Luffy never found out about that? How is it that Garp didn't find out about it?
Luffy doesn't read the news. He knew nothing about Dragon.
Well, here's the thing. Garp knew about Sabo.
True.
To an extent. So, wouldn't it make sense for Luffy to find out through Garp?
That's a good point.
So, in that sense, it doesn't make sense for those people to know that, hey, he's the number 2. I mean, it's awesome for us because we're like, holy shit, he's up there.
It does create some weird continuity errors because when in volume 45 went right after Enies Lobby, when Garp was laying down the exposition on Luffy and he was telling him like, "Hey, Dragon's your dad," you know, all this crazy shit.
Just finding out all
at
this
that
stuff.
point in the timeline, Sabo was presumably in the Revolutionary Army, a high-ranking member, maybe number 2 already. So it's weird that he didn't mention that at all because we know Garp was in the flashback. We know Garp knows who Sabo is.
Yeah, and we at that same time we get like during the whole thing about like oh yeah, Dragon's your father, stuff like that. During the war we find out like, hey, Luffy knew this entire time that the Pirate King was Ace's dad.
Yeah.
So when did he find that out? That would have just been something that Garp would have told him.
He said something about he said something about how him and Ace never talk about it. So I think Ace told him, but Ace told him? Yeah, but I just don't think they actually talk about it together.
Okay. Well, right there, someone told him something. People tell him stuff. He knows all these crazy secrets or whatever.
Have you ever thought about that?
Survival.
Have you ever thought about how Ace's dad is fucking the Pirate King, and Luffy's dad is the most wanted, dangerous man in the world, and Sabo's dad is just some douchebag?
It's kind of messed up.
He kind of got the short end right there.
He did, but at the
Just
same
some
time,
asshole.
at the same time though, it kind of fits where he ended up.
I suppose so, and it really built him as a character, like in how he views nobles and things. Man, I love Sabo eating the fruit. I love that he just went for it. He saved Rebecca. We finally. So for those who are listening, we finally get to see Sabo in the current timeline, and he looks fucking awesome.
He does. That scar on his eye from, I presume, when he got shot by the Tenryubito.
I think that is the assumption. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think he looks anything like Kobe? I've heard people say that.
He does a little bit.
A little bit.
It's just the way that his facial structure is
more badass
drawn.
though, right? Well, his hair too. I'd say his hair.
Well, his hair isn't. His hair doesn't bother me. His hair actually kind of fits.
I'm not complaining about Sabo at all. I actually love his clothes, and Koala looks awesome, and and Hack, he looks awesome too. Fuck, man. Oh, I'm so excited.
I think what I do have to say concerning like the character designs and all that stuff, I don't like how kind of generic Rebecca's looking at the moment. Like, she gets carried off. We see her after Sabo saves her and all that stuff. Her design looks a little bit too much like Nami Vivi.
Well, that is a phenomenon that people have dubbed Nami-Face, where post time skip, it seems as though Oda has created a lot of women that look very similar to Nami.
Which is kind of depressing, because you look at all of his male characters, and all the male characters have relatively distinguishable features.
Yeah, I agree. But people were saying that about Shirahoshi as well. People were saying when Shirahoshi debuted, they were like, look, it's a big-ass fish Nami. You know? So it seems to be a problem Oda's been having lately. And she looks, not Shirahoshi, but Rebecca looks exactly like her mom. Exactly. Scarlet.
You know, I don't think I have a problem with that.
I don't. I mean, obviously there's a lineage, so
yeah,
it's not
so
as
that
big
makes
of a
sense.
problem.
But then that brings the issue that her mom looks a little bit too much like Nami as well.
True. Yeah, there's too much of it. And people have been complaining that Robin looks a little too much like Boa.
Yes, I definitely see that. She's lost some of her defining features.
Her nose and her eye shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh man.
And her bangs, of course.
Well, yeah.
There are like a couple panels where people have been like putting them together, you know, and they look, between her and Boa, they look so similar.
Yeah, it's almost like Oda got used to drawing certain characters at certain points, and then just kind of...
I just think he's drawing what he's attracted to, and I think that's like his version of a pretty brunette, you know, and Nami's like a pretty anything else, really, you know, like hair-wise. And I think that we're just getting these two archetypes, and like you were saying, with men, we get so many archetypes.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Even in the Straw Hats, where Luffy and Zoro and their body type are fairly similar, and you could say the same about Usopp and Sanji, we still have fucking crazy-ass Brook, and crazy-ass Frankie, and fucking Chopper, and all this crazy shit, you know? The reindeer raccoon dog who, like, changes into, like, 6 different things.
Which one is which giant is Dory?
Dory is the one with the long ass beard.
The brown haired, black haired one or whatever.
Yeah, Brogy's the bigger, fatter one.
Okay. He looks a little bit like the giant that's holding up Usopp right now.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too.
So
might be a relation. Who knows? I mean,
yeah, it's possible. Well, I mean, we kind of have an understanding that giants do have lineages. When we meet Saul, he's like, I'm not the same as them. Yeah. So there are separate bloodlines and stuff.
Well,
of
course.
So it's possible that he could be related.
Well, I mean, Saul is a D. Saul is one of the rare Ds that we've met in the series, so of course he's not coming from the same place as Dory and Brogy. And
a giant D.
I wonder what place that will have in the series later on down the road. I'm curious.
Just the Ds in general?
I want to ask you how strong you think Sabo is. Where, in a world level, like compared to the Admirals or whatever, where do you place him? What would be your guess?
Dude, he's number 2 of the Revolutionaries.
Well, number 2 of the Revolutionaries prior to getting the Logia.
Prior, yes. Now he has the Logia. I mean, he doesn't know how to control it. I mean, he's even like, ow, it hurts, it burns, or whatever. And he's like, oh no, it doesn't. But power wise, I mean, him being the number 2 of the Revolutionaries already puts him at world level strength.
I would say so.
And now he has a Logia ability to go with that. Like he was using Haki before that.
Yeah.
He was using haki. So we know he has knowledge and skill above where Luffy was at pre-time skip.
Or Ace. Where Ace was. I think Ace is
He's actually stronger than Ace.
I would say so. I would say he's stronger hand-to-hand combat than Ace because he has to be. But now he has the Logia on top of that. So he's an expert in haki.
You know, if you think about it, Ace never really knew armaments haki. So in that aspect, Sabo's stronger in terms of defense and stuff. Because if Ace had armaments, he might have been able to defend himself against Akainu when he punched that hole through him.
Possibly, or Akainu's just much stronger with his armaments. The thing is,
we already know that he's a dick.
we don't think Oda really illustrated haki armaments specifically prior to the time skip. It seems like now we're getting like black, appendages to illustrate haki. So if that's the case, we don't really know if Ace had it or not. We don't know.
Well, we don't.
That is an assumption, though. That is a theory. We don't really know if that's the case.
I feel like he didn't have it. He wouldn't have had it because he just kind of threw his body out there to save Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't feel that Akainu was using haki either because Luffy was in a vulnerable position at that point.
True.
He was like, I can't really defend myself right now. And Akainu's just like, I'm just going to punch you to death with lava. So, I mean, like, when I look at it like that, it's like, Ace, if Ace had any kind of skill with armaments, or at least, to an extent, he might have been able to survive being attacked by Akainu.
Well, we know in the military that...
At the very least, it's possible.
We know in the military that anybody who's a vice admiral is able to use haki.
Yes.
So I have a hard time believing that Ace, who was a 1st Division commander... First?
Well, we
Okay. Well, he was a division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and he was offered a place amongst the Shichibukai. Those are very high-ranking places amongst pirates. I just can't imagine he has no concept of haki.
We already know that he
lives within the New World. We
know that he uses haki.
We know that he could use Conqueror Kings.
Yeah,
he can use the time skip. Yeah.
Yeah, he can use the Emperor's haki, but we don't see him ever using like some kind of like enhancement.
No, I agree. But when he fought. I think it was alluded when he fought Blackbeard that he is good hand to hand. Like he isn't weak when it comes to not having his devil fruit. He's still strong.
When we get the flashback too, we see that as a child he's already good at fighting.
True, but it's kind of hard to like put that in perspective. Blue Jam was just a pirate in the East Blue. Like it's hard to say really how strong he was. I mean, we know he was
Ace
strong.
was like 10.
No, I'm not saying. Obviously, he was a very strong young man, but
He wasn't even a man at that point. He wasn't even a teenager.
I said young man, bitch, chill out.
He's not a young man. He was a kid.
Fine, he was a very strong kid. Him and Sabo, and even Luffy in time, were all very strong. I agree.
Yeah.
And they were as strong as the pirates in the area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were strong on a world level. I mean, of course they weren't. Right. But
I mean, getting that kind of precedence, like we are, like as a child, he was already very strong. It makes sense that as an older pirate, he's improved at least.
No, of course. And we know that he fought Jinbei to a draw. We know that Whitebeard was willing to take him in right away. So we know that he's strong. There's no doubt about it. He's fucking strong. I don't know. I don't know if he had haki. I can't imagine that he didn't have a concept of it, that he couldn't use it to some extent. But as has been said over and over again in the series, Logia users lean on their devil fruit.
Yes.
So I think even Ace probably fell into that pattern.
Well, that's kind of what we see when he's fighting Blackbeard. He's using mostly his devil fruit ability.
But one of Blackbeard's crew, as I mentioned before, says he's strong regardless of his devil fruit.
No, he does say that he's strong regardless, but when we see what we see of the fight, he's only using his ability.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you? It
is a pretty badass ability. He can summon a sun.
It's pretty cool.
He basically summoned a sun and threw it.
I always wish we would have got more of Ace fighting with the devil fruit. Like, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you get to experience a bit of his technique with primarily with the Logia, his Logia, but not too much hand-to-hand combat except for the flashback, right?
Yeah, that's mostly where we see it because that was prior to him having the Logia at all.
Yeah, you don't really see Ace fight too much, but thinking about it now, have you seen a Logia use haki before?
Well, yes, we see the admirals using haki during the war. They use it offensively, but they also use it defensively, where they're holding up their palms to kind of. They mention haki,
yeah.
But we sort of don't have a total grasp over what the fuck they're even doing yet, because I think haki has levels to it that we haven't totally understood just yet. Do you remember that panel though, where all three of the admirals have their hands up and they're like talking about like fucking haki users are a bitch to fight?
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, I'm sure Logia, and of course there's a Nell. He could use mantra, which is essentially
It's observation hockey.
It's very powerful
Yeah.
observation hockey because he
Yeah.
could use it in
Well,
coinciding with his devil fruit, which makes it very strong.
You bring up a good point. It's in conjunction with his devil fruit that makes it so powerful.
But that's another reason why Anel is so underrated. Holy shit, he's using observation hockey coinciding with his devil fruit that early on in the series
Before we're
to
really
give himself
even
a lot of
introduced to
strength.
it.
Wait, yeah, well we are
Like
introduced to
we
it.
get introduced to mantra as something that like certain Skypians can use, but we don't get introduced to it as a very general, like widely available ability that people can use.
In terms of giving it a name, that is the first time we ever know anything about observation.
Exactly.
I think the first character that we ever get it from was the Ball Priest.
Yeah.
I believe so. It was either him or the little girl, the little Shandian girl. I forget her name at the moment.
Yeah, all I know is one of them mentions mantra, and they mention it specifically as mantra. That's our first kind of definite clue that there's abilities that people can use that are kind of innate.
I remember when I first experienced that when I was watching the anime, when I was originally watching One Piece. I thought that was something specific to the Sky People.
That's what I thought too, and then we find out later on that it's like, oh no, this is observation hockey, a specific type of observation hockey.
Well, our very, very first experience with hockey is, of course, Chapter 1, Romance Dawn, with Shanks, where he scares away the Sea King, the king of the coast,
using just intimidation.
Yeah, using his Conqueror King's hockey. Holy shit, fucking cool moment.
Oh, dude, you know what? That chapter in Punk Hazard, when Zoro's using fear or whatever against Monet. What if he's using, to an extent, Conqueror's hockey?
People have kind of thought about Zoro awakening his Conqueror Kings plenty of times. I really don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. People say that he's paralleled the most to Rayleigh, and Rayleigh has it, so therefore it makes sense for him to have it. I just don't know. I'm cool with him having it. I'm cool with him not, really.
Well, like, it obviously wouldn't be, like, the strongest of his abilities or whatever, because his observation hockey is kind of where he... observation hockey is kind of what Otis said
is his strength.
Is his strength, yeah.
And he's one of the first ones to use it in the whole series during the Daz Bones fight back in Arabasta.
Exactly. Gets used to... He learns how, in order to cut steel, you need to learn how not to cut.
Yeah. A blade that cuts everything isn't a blade at all.
Exactly.
Oh, man, what a fucking fight.
Oh, dude.
My friend is reading the series right now, and she's only on volume 16. She's just about to start 16.
Oh, really?
And she was like, does anybody have saw legs in One Piece? And I was like, yes. She's like, what about saw arms? I was like, you're going to be the guy who has saw everything. And I was like, it's coming up pretty soon.
All right.
Oh, my God. That's what... As far as that level of One Piece, like in the 23 and before volumes, you know, because that's the end of Arabasta, that is probably my favorite fight. I love that Zoro Daz Bones fight.
That was a good fight.
My opinion on where Sabo is in the world, I would say, fuck, man. Like, prior to getting the Devil Fruit, I kind of thought he'd be kind of in Marco level, you know? Like, right around Admirals, but not quite. Now I'd say he's at least Admiral. Like, he has to be, right?
He has to be somewhere around Admiral level strength. It's hard to say, though, just because we have Garp, who's a Vice Admiral.
True.
Or who was a Vice Admiral. So, there's this kind of thing where it's like, we have Admiral level strength in levels below the rank of Admiral.
I think it's fair to say that Garp isn't your typical Vice Admiral.
He isn't. He was offered the position, but he was offered the position to move up, but he just didn't.
Apparently multiple times.
Yeah.
Much like Ace was offered the position of Shichibukai.
Man, family resemblance.
I know, right?
He's not even related.
Well, that's one of the major themes of One Piece is that you don't necessarily have to be related to love somebody as though they are your family member.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Garp made it very clear that he loves Ace like a grandson.
I mean, he threatened to kill Akainu.
Yes, he did. He said, "You fucking better hold me down, Sengoku.
Otherwise, he will die." Which kind of makes you wonder about Garp's actual strength, his actual combat strength, because he was holding back a lot during the war.
I imagine. Yeah.
He closed his eyes and let Luffy punch him.
And then post-war, he let Data knock him out. That because of Ace. Like he was willing, like, fine, just let her kick my ass because you know.
So, the fact that he's so like. I mean, it wasn't nonchalant. It was kind of out of anger, but it was still kind of nonchalant in the way he said it. Like, if you let go of me, I'm gonna kill him. He's gonna die.
Well, in terms of just physical brute strength, in volume, I believe it's 45, when he throws that giant goddamn cannonball that's way bigger than the Thousand Sunny. That is one of the most impressive feats we've seen in the entire series. Also, Marco showed that he is not quite Admiral level, but close, and fucking Garp knocked him out of the sky like it was nothing.
He just punched him, right?
Yeah.
Just straight up punched him.
Which was awesome. So I think it's clear that Garp has a lot of strength, and he's not in his prime, clearly.
Oh man, imagine him in his prime.
Yeah, well, he was never Roger level, obviously, but I think he was close.
Well,
I guess that's debatable.
Yeah, that's debatable. They could have been on par.
Well, we know but they never said that. They said that he's cornered Roger, but never really managed to get him. That's sort of all we know.
Just because he's cornered him doesn't mean that he hasn't put up a fight. It doesn't mean that they at the same time, it also doesn't mean that they've actually fought.
We don't know. A lot of people have made Garp's parallel, like in regards to his relationship with Roger, to Luffy and Smoker.
I can see that, but at the same time, I almost feel that Garp it might be more like I don't know. It seems like if Kobe was higher rank and his mission was to chase down Luffy, that's kind of what I would see Garp and Roger's relationship as. I mean, we don't really know because we haven't seen that much of that that generation. But Roger trusted him enough to entrust Ace to him after his death.
Mm-hmm.
So there had to have been some level of respect and friendship. Like you're my enemy, but at the same time I love you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, whereas Smoker, he's kind of like, I'm gonna capture you no matter what it takes. I'm gonna fucking capture you.
Well, but they also have a weird friendship because in Arabasta, Luffy tells Smoker that he likes him. Like, they have a weird, they kind of had to work together in Punk Hazard. It's not like they haven't had to work together before.
But in Alabasta, he was still gonna capture Luffy up until Ace appeared.
Well, he was, but then they saved him. Zoro saved him on Luffy's command, and he said he was willing to let them go.
And then, there's that, but basically, Ace and Smoker were fighting, and that's kind of what.
True, he was trying to get the Straw Hats at that point, but
yeah, even at Punk Hazard, he was trying to capture him, but the only thing that kind of stopped him was the betrayal of Virgo, and the fact that his crew was in danger as well. It's kind of a common enemy type thing. Your enemy, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend at the moment.
Well, essentially that's what happened in Arabasta too with Crocodile. I think he realized that Crocodile was the true evil in Arabasta, and that's why he let Tashigi do whatever she needed to do. And when she did what she did, which was help the Straw Hats, she was like conflicted, and he was like, "Bitch, don't cry. You're good. It's cool. You did what you did. I trust you. I take any
It's because she wanted Zoro.
She actually helped Luffy because Luffy was like, "Which way did they go?" I think that's what happened. Yeah. She was like, "Which way did they go?" And Robin just left, and she pointed that way.
I think she still wanted Zoro.
Well, that's gonna happen. They're gonna get down, and then Perona's gonna be like, "Bitch," and they're gonna be a crazy cat fight. I'm gonna watch it and be like, "My dick."
I don't know. I think Perona. I think Perona's a better match. Just because I like her character a little bit more.
Well, I quite like Tashigi. I think Tashigi is pretty interesting.
She's a very interesting character, but I mean, just like design wise and stuff, I like Perona.
Well, Perona's one of the most interesting characters design wise. Where Tashigi is kind of another. She kind of fell into that sex pot look, which is unfortunate because she was kind of dorky and shit pre-time skip, and now she's very curvy.
Which was it kind of gave her more character.
I think so.
Like she was the glasses wearing, like kind of nerdy marine.
She was clumsy. She was a sword otaku. Yeah, and now she's still that way, but she's clearly sexy as fuck, which is, sad, kind of.
Although it was kind of funny when Smoker was put in her body, and he's just like...
showing the breasticles.
I know. just wearing the uniform like he does, except not even realizing, like, oh yeah, I'm in Tashigi's body. Nope, this is comfortable for me. There we go. That's more comfortable.
I was thinking about that today, and I was like, Smoker, is he like so aloof that he doesn't realize he's in a woman's body?
I don't think he does.
I think he's been there before.
Oh, that would be weird. He's encountered Ivankov before, maybe.
No, I think he's saying he's fucked Tashiki.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm comfortable with this body. I'll just let her hang out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
I've seen this quite often. We're on
You know-
the ship for so long.
You know, it's
Female on
possible.
ship.
It is possible that he.
I'm made of smoke. I can do what I want. She's asleep. She doesn't feel anything.
Oh God, that would be so bad.
Smoke my dick.
That would be so bad.
She's waking up with a cough. It wasn't my dick. Oh man.
But yeah, it's just sad because
Oh, that's another Logia that we've seen use hockey. We've actually seen Smoker use armaments. We saw it in
Did we?
Punk Hazard, yeah. When he was fighting
okay.
Virgo.
Right, okay, yeah, because I was like, what are you talking about? He uses his Karaseki things and his Tonfa,
Mhm.
and I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he uses armaments against Virgo, which was a bad idea.
Yeah.
You're not going to win an armaments battle with Virgo.
He's basically using Tekai,
Yeah.
which a lot of people assume that's kind of what Tekai is it's basically a specialized version of.
Well, we've
like
discussed that before,
Yeah.
where we think the CP9 techniques, the Cypher Pole
Some of
techniques,
them, yeah.
it would make sense if they are an off-brand of hockey.
Like
And
Shigan the
Jabra.
finger, like
Mhm.
Shigan the finger gun would be very specifically arming your finger to make it into a weapon
Yeah,
more powerful, and like Tekai being armor.
yeah. And therefore, Jabra is just very, he's just very good, like, naturally at armaments.
Yeah,
That's why he's the only one who could use that technique and move at the same time.
yeah.
Which is weird because, Rob Lucci is there, who is clearly more apt at everything, like he's the better version of Jabra.
Well, he says he is, but like the thing that kind of makes him stronger is the fact that he can use abilities and techniques similar to Fishman Karate.
Okay.
So like his special ability is basically Fishman Karate, using
Yeah.
the vibrating the air molecules or whatever to strike your opponent.
But Luffy also mentions that it feels like impact dial, but worse, like an impact dial. So we don't really know what its relation is to the impact dial or Fishman Karate. It could maybe they all have something in common. We don't really know yet.
Maybe he's infusing his some kind of armaments hockey into the Fishman Karate technique.
Do you think now that Usopp is
But actually no. At the same time, Fishman Karate affects Luffy.
it does?
So in that sense, it would make sense if he was just using some kind of modified Fishman Karate.
Do you think that Usopp should use the impact dials more now post time skip now that he is physically a little stronger?
I think he should. I think it would make more sense because that was where he was at his strongest against Luffy. He was fighting Luffy on par because he was using dials and techniques that he hadn't used before. And now that he's able to withstand the impact dial, it makes more sense for him to use it more often.
Well, maybe he will eventually, because it does give him a close range option, which he doesn't really have.
Exactly,
at the moment.
yeah.
He's a ranged fighter. He's been a ranged fighter the whole fucking series.
Right.
And the only reason he fought so well against Luffy is because he didn't underestimate Luffy, and he knew Luffy's weaknesses.
Right.
Luffy, he's apt to losing to people who are tricky, and that's exactly how Usopp fought him. He used gas, and he exploded it, and all these things. And Usopp was dead serious.
That was an amazing fight.
That was an emotional roller coaster. That's a very underappreciated fight.
I actually really liked that more than probably any of the other fights during that arc.
Really?
Yeah, like including Water 7 and Enies
Enies
Lobby.
Lobby.
So out of all of those fights, I like that fight more than all of them.
What do you think, Nick? Do you remember any of that?
A little bit of it. I didn't. I would definitely agree with you saying that's probably one of the most underrated fights. I don't know too much about different how other people rate fights or whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. Just your opinion.
Really enjoyed that fight, absolutely, because you see the emotional distress between the two of them, and they're after one falls. That was very interesting, I think, because it hits him like a rock.
Yeah, it was a beautiful fight. I mean, I don't think every fight is quite as emotionally charged as that specific fight.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot on the line, This could be the crew disbanding in a way, or at least losing Usopp. They're clearly losing Mary.
It almost seems like it's the crew disbanding at that point because there's missing Robin. They're missing Robin at that point. She's disappeared.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Usopp left. The Mary they have to leave behind, and there's a little bit more fighting between the other crew members based on Luffy's decisions, even though it's Luffy's decision as a captain.
Yeah.
Like we have Chopper that still wants to go help Usopp.
There's Zoro who's standing against that.
Yeah.
There's Nami who's trying to be the peacekeeper. Like, she was
And
yelling at all of them.
Luffy tells her to shut up.
Well, Luffy was right to tell her to shut up.
He was.
Luffy kind of lets her be a bitch when it's, like, fun and joke, you know? But that wasn't a jokey thing. That was
a very serious moment that they needed to resolve.
That's one of my favorite Zoro moments in the whole series, where Zoro is, like... Zoro kind of leads Luffy as to be a good captain. You know? He's, like, very level-headed when the chips are down.
He is the first mate. It's kind of his job.
But I love that. You know, I kind of wish we'd get a little bit more of that, but just the little that we do get is so good. Like, I love when Zoro was like, if you bring, like, towards the end of Ennie's lobby, when they go back to Water 7.
If he comes back with anything other than an apology,
I'll be the next one to go.
Yeah.
Yep. Which was fucking cool, you know? I mean, I don't think he meant he would leave right away. I think he meant, like, I'll lose respect for you, and I won't be here too much longer, because the whole reason I'm here is because I respect you, and I respect your dream, and I'm here to support you for your dream. But if I don't respect your dream, what the fuck am I doing here?
And he shows that he has a lot of respect for Luffy's dream at the end of Thriller Bark, when he takes all that damage for him or whatever. He shows that he has respect for his dream when he bows his head to Mihawk right before the time skip. And he's like, my dream is worthless if I can't support him.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially, he doesn't even care about his own dream if he can't get Luffy to his dream.
Yeah.
He is, like, the best first mate. He's fucking badass.
It kind of makes me want to compare him to Rayleigh in a sense, but I don't know too much about Rayleigh. Like, it makes you wonder about Rayleigh's relationship with Roger.
Well, we know they were very close, but that's really all we know.
Right.
Know? There's that beautiful quote where he says, the day that Roger died was the day he drank the most and laughed the most and cried the most. You know, I love that quote. And so we know that it was a life-changing experience for him to lose Roger. But again, you know, that's really, we've never literally, I don't think we've ever seen them in the same panel together. So I don't.
We haven't.
No, I don't believe so.
Because Zoro's lost the entire time trying to find Grove 1. Actually, that's the only time that he actually goes where he's trying to go. He misreads the sign, yeah, so yeah, he's not going to go to Grove 41 or whatever it was. Yeah. He's going to end up going to Grove 1.
Yeah.
He remembered the number 1, though. And he made it to Grove 1, walking straight there. So he actually made it to the auction house without getting lost. That's the only time that he doesn't get lost trying to go anywhere.
He needs things to be numbered all the time. It's funny you mention that because right now in the series, chapter 744, Zoro's probably lost.
That's what I'm thinking. Like what we were saying. We had a little conversation about this, comparing Pika and Zoro with Luffy and Enel. They're natural enemies. Zoro versus the environment.
Exactly. Where is it? It's all around you. I can't find it.
Just take a left. All right. I'm going right.
Your other left.
Your other left, damn it.
Go north. He's going up.
Not directly up.
That was one of my favorite moments of Zoro misdirection. Like, they said to go north, so I just went up the building. Oh, man. Like, that was one of the things that Oda has embellished more and more over time, that it kind of makes Zoro seem stupid, but it's hilarious, so I totally am cool with it. I'm like, fine, just let him get... It's fine.
We kind of get our first sense of his bad direction during the Kuro arc, or whatever, before they meet Usopp, or after they meet Usopp, before the fight with Kuro. Mm-hmm. What is it? It's like go north. Again, it's go north or whatever. Mm-hmm. We need to go north.
Because they were on the wrong shore?
Yeah, they were on the wrong shore. I mean, yeah, Nami kind of screwed him over, threw him down the grease. but when he finally got up or whatever, he didn't know where to go. Didn't he need help? It was the kids that led him, right?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was the Usopp pirates that led him to where he needed to go.
I feel like Luffy's no better. Luffy just kept running.
He just went... Well, he needed to go north, so he just went, I don't know where north is. I'm just going to run straight. And hope that I make it to the right place.
So at the time, I didn't really think Zoro was so bad, you know, but it's gotten worse and worse. Like, actually, like the start of Sabati, when he's like about to go off on his own, Chopper and Sanji are like, no, don't go.
They treat him like a kid. They're calling him like Zoro-kun and stuff like that, treating him like a little kid.
And he's like, look, everything is numbered. And they're like, oh, we didn't know you were so wise. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna kill you.
And then a bubble was blocking the floor, so he
so he read it wrong. But he still made it.
He made it to the right place.
Yeah.
That's sort of like Zoro's whole tale. He goes the total wrong area, but he makes it to the right place in the end.
Exactly.
Like right now.
Well, I mean, he did kind of, for whatever reason, was I feel like it was Thriller Park when they're going somewhere and they're all going up the stairs, but he goes to the right of the staircase.
I believe that's Ennie's lobby.
Is it Ennie's lobby?
I believe
Okay, Ennie's
so.
lobby, the giant staircase, right?
Yeah. That's like after they fight like the three-headed judge guy. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's like, we gotta go up. And he's just like, I'm gonna go this way.
Like, what are you doing?
And then Thriller Bark, he does go the wrong way. He's like following them, and he still goes the wrong way.
Zoro's one of the
He's not
most
even
serious
leading.
members of the crew, and yet that is like one of the silliest quirks in any character in the whole fucking series. I don't know how Oda makes that shit work and still makes me laugh every time. Awesome.
Oh man.
And like
So,
I
yeah,
was saying, I think at the moment he is lost because Pika, he comes at towards the end of chapter 744. So Pika's there. Where's Zoro? I don't think he beat Zoro. No fucking way, right?
Yeah,
Zoro.
I don't think he beat him. Like,
He just lost him.
yeah, Zoro during the little panel that they showed him last chapter, he was tired and sweaty or whatever, but it wasn't because he was getting his ass kicked or anything. It was because he didn't know where to hit. He was looking for his opponent, and his opponent is kind of the path that he needs to go.
We started talking about chapter 744, but we didn't talk about the end and how crazy the end is. The end is really crazy because we have the setup of there's Kairos, there's Pika, there's
Oh,
Law,
God.
there's Violet, whatever. There's Doflamingo still alive. There's and where the fuck is Zoro? I don't know.
We don't know. He's probably just gonna cut his way in sometime.
Kairos is just around crushing skulls like a motherfucker. He's
I know.
like, crack.
Oh,
Yeah.
that looks painful.
Oh, Jesus.
I was just like, for a second, the way I read that panel initially was like, did he just snap his neck? I mean, that guy, he's a propeller man. He shouldn't be able to snap his neck.
He should be able to turn any which way he wants.
but like you said, it looks more like he's crushing his head as opposed to, oh, you're dead.
I don't know.
Oh,
I
man.
know he lost a tooth, so yeah, he's
He
definitely
lost a tooth
crushing
that
his
was
face.
holding that was showing part of his allegiance to the Doflamingo pirate crew.
So we have a huge setup for the next chapter because Doflamingo says that he's using a technique called the birdcage.
Right.
And we have no idea what the hell that means.
I wonder if that means that because
It was his severed head, by the way. His
yeah,
severed
his
head
severed head said that.
said,
So
"Oh,
I-
birdcage."
So I wonder if that means that, like, inside the room or whatever, or maybe even encompassing the entire island, he has his string ability, his cloud ability that he turns to strings, kind of organized in a way that allows him to stay connected.
I wonder if, like, okay, there's a lot of things you could take away from current devil fruits that you could exaggerate where they could go. Like, for example, Caesar Clown's ability to control gases. Like, what could he do? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, he
what
could do
the options
so
are
much.
amazing. Same thing for Baby 5. She's just a weapon girl. What could she do? You know, well,
She's also kind of the first example of a devil fruit that might be artificial.
well, I
Like
mean,
the most visible example, I should say.
you mean aside from Zone?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
She's because like weapons don't occur in nature, yet
Well-
she can become manufactured weapons. Like she can become guns, bombs, swords.
It is weird.
So it's like
But I feel like there's other instances of that. Well, I was going to make a point. My point
Okay,
was
sorry.
maybe Don Quixote do Flamingo, maybe he'll incorporate string theory somehow, and he is working
Right,
on
right.
a molecular level, smaller than that even, and controlling the entire environment.
right, because it's not like a cloud fruit, right? It's a string fruit.
No, it is a string fruit.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't imagine that because then he would essentially be God. Why would he need sugar? Why would he need his crew? Why would he, you know?
At that point, he could just work on a molecular level to change everyone into his slaves anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe it's specific to his body.
Maybe it's not as much fun that way. He seems like a character who quite enjoys chaos and fun.
He does. So actually, chaos theory kind of fits him more. Like, oh, if I do this, what would happen to the world?
I could actually really see him being that guy who like just wants to make a big impact on the world, but just for fun, not really for power.
He's already we already have evidence that he's turned government officials and other like renowned pirates and marine officials into his slaves, into toys.
We know that there was revolutionaries who were also
Right.
toys for 10 years.
A number of revolutionaries.
So we're gonna meet more revolutionaries just from this.
Oh man.
Even kings.
Well, they show one king that was never introduced that gets turned back.
Yeah.
And then they show the King of Prudence again, who is also back and helping to lead Usopp's crew to destroy the tower.
They call him Captain Usopp.
I know.
So there's been a thing going on in the series where everything that Usopp says that is fictitious eventually becomes reality.
I
And
mean,
it's literally everything.
Right now
So,
it's happening because he kind of has the same influence as Buggy.
I think
where
his
it's like people are-
first lie ever was, "My name is Captain Usopp." That was a bullshit. And now I think, people are calling him Captain Usopp. He's not saying it for them. They're calling him.
They're
that.
calling him just like the Impel Down escapees were calling Buggy Captain Buggy.
That's a parallel that I made as well. It's
Yeah.
very reminiscent of Buggy, but crazier,
Yeah.
It's even wilder because, all the prisoners, they kind of had a similar mold, in my opinion. Like, they felt like a bunch of prisoners from
Yeah.
Impel Down, where we got, like, giants and kings and
we have
fishmen and revolutionaries.
influential people that are calling Usopp Captain.
I'm not belittling the Buggy's new crew.
Well,
I think
no, 'cause-
they were able to elevate him all the way up to Shichibukai, along with his
Well,
clout that he got from the war.
They were also well-known pirates, well-renowned pirates in their own right. It's just that we're looking at like kings. We're looking at people influential in other countries, other than pirates, that are calling him Captain Usopp.
Really, the possibilities are pretty amazing when you think of Sugar's ability, because it's a really crazy, broken ability. She could have people that were toys that were incredibly influential in the government and the revolutionaries as pirates.
There could be people with some kind of status equivalent to the level 6 prisoners in Impel Down that were erased from history, that were turned into toys, and that are now back in the world because of this.
Don't forget about the fucking gorilla.
And the gorilla!
There's a gorilla who is on Usopp's side now. We are all dead. This is deadly.
Dude, a gorilla, an elephant. There's
Was there a giraffe too?
I feel like there was, but I can't recall.
What are the odds that those are like awakened zones?
Who knows? I don't think they were, just because they looked too much like animals. Whereas awakened Zoans still have a human type physique, a very specific human physique.
Mm-hmm. Those could be like first gen though. They could have kept evolving the concept of awakened zone.
That is a good point. Well, maybe they've just specialized that much in their animal form that they don't need the intermediate form.
Hey, you want to play that game where we pick a fucking character out of a hat and we decide on like what the defining moments of that character's existence are?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be fun. Should we each pick one, or should we pick one and then we'll both discuss it?
Let's pick one and we both discuss it, and then if we feel like we want to discuss more, we can pick another.
All right, here is my hat. I'm jiggling it up. There you go.
All right, let's see. Crocodile.
Ooh, that's such a good one. My nipples just got hard. Yes.
All right, Crocodile. His influential character-defining moments.
Let's let
his
Nick talk.
challenge.
Okay. Yeah, Nick, what do you think? Okay, for anybody who's just listening to us for the first time, hello, bitches. Also, Nick is our anime fan. He is the only, of the three of us, the only anime-only viewer. So, Nick, Crocodile is pretty memorable. So I imagine you remember who that is. Do you remember who Crocodile is?
I remember who Crocodile is.
Well, tell us what you think defines Crocodile the best. Like a scene, a moment, a line, a dialogue, whatever.
Well, one primary thing. So he would be considered Logia because he's using sand, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
he is a Logia.
He is a Logia.
Okay, so I really want to get that line established because we had just discussed that the wax.
Mr. 3. Mr. 3 is actually a paramecia. Yeah.
Well, you see, Mr. 3, he can't change his actual body. He just exudes wax.
He secretes it similar to Magellan.
But for example, if you shot him with a bullet, it wouldn't just become wax and go through him. He would just die.
He would actually get hurt and shot.
Yeah,
and wounded.
or he'd have to make like a wax
wall of some kind,
wall
some kind
to
of
kinda protect
protective
him.
barrier.
Got it.
Where Crocodile and Ace and Enel, they could turn into their element and it'll shoot through them. And that's been pretty consistent through the series until recently, where we met a character named Treble, who is a sticky fruit.
Which is kind of weird. I see people mentioning
A sticky Logia, I'm sorry.
A sticky.
actually,
Logia.
it is not confirmed yet that it is a Logia. It is
That is true.
assumed. It is commonly accepted among the fandom that it is Logia, but it is never actually explicitly mentioned.
True.
I thought it was mentioned that it was a paramecia, but it wasn't.
Well, okay. Well, I know you don't know, but what happened was Treble got cut in half by Usopp, and he's still alive. So it definitely leads us to believe that he is a Logia. Anyway, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. Talk about Crocodile.
Yeah.
Okay. Most defining moment.
Sir Crocodile.
I'm just gonna go with the fight with Lugia. So it's the one that sticks out most in my head, anyways.
Which
so,
one? The third?
I'm gonna go with the second one.
The second one was Water Luffy.
Yes.
That's the one that sticks out the most.
I mean, that is kind of a ridiculous fight.
It's entirely ridiculous, and it's so funny because you get to see Luffy and Crocodile go through their what the fuck moments.
That's beautiful.
It's weird because it's almost like a natural form of armaments hockey that isn't actually like hockey.
Well, that was what a lot of people liked about the early part of One Piece, was that Oda had to get really creative when he was overcoming Logia users. Anyway, I want to talk about that fight because holy shit, I haven't talked about that fight in a while. Okay, what I love so much about that fight is fucking how silly Water Luffy is. How Luffy has to chug all the water because he's afraid of losing it, so he has a giant belly. I love that. That's such a serious moment. It's a serious fight. If he doesn't beat this guy, genocide could happen. But it's still silly. It's still hilarious. Because that's what I love about One Piece, that even in the darkest of times, it's still so much fun. Also, it's one of my favorite double spreads of all time when Luffy finally punches Crocodile. Crocodile's going, you can't hit me. And fucking Luffy just smacks him in the goddamn face. It's such a cool double panel. I love that one. And then I love, of course, that fucking Crocodile almost kills him again, turns him into a goddamn raisin man, and throws him off a building. And then
I've stabbed you. I've turned you into a raisin. Why are you not dead?
And then Luffy's only his incredible luck of getting water. Oh, we also get the first time Crocodile does the palm thing where he puts it on the ground. I forget what it's called, but he just destroys the environment.
It's basically sand coffin.
Okay, for you, go ahead, Robert. What is your defining Crocodile moment?
First off, I'm gonna have to say it's not gonna have anything to do with the fights in Alabasta, because it feels like those are more defining moments for Luffy. They kind of develop his character a little bit more, show his luck. A defining moment for Crocodile for me is when he straight up challenged Whitebeard's authority during the war. That was the one I was going to say right off the bat. That's what I find as a defining moment, because he's sitting there like, I may have been in prison for a while. I may have let myself become a dog of the military or the Navy or whatever to an extent for a period of time, but I still have my own.
Be a Full Metal Alchemist,
right? Right. But I still have my own ambitions for the world at the moment, and that's kind of what I got from that.
I have a similar one. It's when Whitebeard is dying and Crocodile says, he's the man who defeated me. Like, he's like saying, like, you can't lose this way. You beat me, old man. I'm the one who gets to beat you. You don't get to lose to other people. I love that moment.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, let's talk about a few other favorite Crocodile moments, since that was too quick. I love in the war when he clashes with Don Quixote do Flamingo, because those are two of my favorite
fight.
Those are two of my favorite villains in the whole series. Actually, and to see them clash.
Can we really call it a fight? Actually, because that's what I just said.
Well, you called it a fight. I called it a clash because
it is. It's just like a couple panels of them like clashing and showing dialogue. Right?
Well, there's something really interesting about that scene in the war where Doflamingo's saying, like, I'm jealous, why don't you join me? Like, I want you in my crew. What do you think that means? Is there a specific reason he wants Crocodile so bad?
I don't know. That's kind of scary in its own right, because Doflamingo right now is pretty influential and very powerful, and he's wanting to recruit Crocodile?
Man.
Oh shit, man. I could only see an alliance of those two causing like catastrophic damage to the world. In general.
Any chance that happens in the future? What do you think? I think it's possible, because I don't think Doflamingo's time in the series is over, like even past this arc, and Crocodile's time is clearly not over.
I wonder though if it's gonna play out like Doflamingo wants though. Doflamingo wanted him to join him.
True.
What if it like?
And they're both leaders, and they're both kind of lone wolves.
I see it more. Well, I don't know about Doflamingo being a lone wolf. He kind of has a family. Like. It kind of parallels Whitebeard.
I guess what I mean is they're renegades.
Right.
They're like, they lead the pack, and then
they're kind of alpha.
Yes.
In a sense.
And I can see them clashing very easily. Well, we saw them clash very easily.
Yeah. So I can kind of see them maybe forming an alliance at some point, but I don't see them joining one another in terms of like joining their crew or whatever, like how Crocodile didn't have a crew at that point in time, and Doflamingo wanted him to join him or whatever. Crocodile probably has his own crew right now. He's probably out looking for Pluton or doing whatever he wants, because he kind of does whatever he wants. He's like, oh, this kingdom is a kingdom that I can use. Okay, I'll use it. I don't care.
I feel like, and I feel like we're kind of not going over just what a bad motherfucker Crocodile was.
Dude.
Yeah, at that point in the series, he was by far the villain. Actually, I'm writing a series for a website right now, and we evaluate One Piece characters, and Crocodile is the villain. He is the top-rated villain. In a lot of people's opinion, he is the defining villain of One Piece. And I kind of agree. Crocodile is like the baddest motherfucker the series has ever produced. People likened him, I never thought about this, people likened him to a Bond villain, and I never thought about that.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was hilarious. He's got his big chairs, he's got like a giant tank full of giant fucking banana gators.
He's got his banana gators.
Which is so Bond villain like, and I never made that parallel before.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that either. I mean, banana gators is, I don't know, like, it kind of makes sense when you think about it now.
Those are weird-looking bananas.
Yeah.
they have gators coming out of them.
God damn it.
Stupid.
Oh god. Another important character defining bit of information. Actually, it's not a trait or anything like that. It's just a bit of information. He's got connections to the Revolutionary Army, on top of having his connections with the Marines and the Shichibukai.
And yeah, Whitebeard as well.
Right, and he has his ties with Yonko. Like, he challenged him and lost. We know he lost. He didn't join Whitebeard, obviously.
And like you said, Ivankov, they clearly know each other.
Right.
Do you think he's a girl? Okay, that's a popular theory.
That's actually kind of that's a theory that I think could possibly play out to be true.
Nick, do you think do you think Crocodile is a girl?
What?
Okay, I don't know if apparently you don't remember, but
No.
when they were releasing Crocodile from his cell in Impel Down, Ivankov was like, we got him under lock, don't worry. I have like a terrible secret from his past. And a lot of fans theorize that means that in the past Crocodile was a little girl and that Ivankov changed him into a boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Never made that correlation whatsoever. I did. I mean, I guess it could happen. I mean, he does. I don't know. He likes to play the big. I don't know. Maybe he's compensating for something.
Oh god.
If you are a girl and you are a Logia, could you change your? No, never mind. I don't know. I was going.
You could change your shape into another gender, probably. Like, it won't be your default return point, but you could probably do it. Like, I don't see why you can't use a Logia ability to modify your appearance.
Well, we do see it with Enel, like Enel's final form when he gets all big and fat and electrical and shit.
When he
awesome.
basically turns into kind of he almost looks like I feel like I'm getting the name of the gods wrong. He reminds me of one of those older Indian gods.
Okay.
I mean, not Ashura, because we get that from Zoro, like straight off the bat, but almost, actually no, kind of like Ashura, just like with one face.
Well, because of his weapon, I always think of like Neptune or something.
I don't know. That doesn't make much sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Just because,
if anything, it's like the opposite.
Yeah. I was gonna say Vajra, but I don't even know what Vajra is depicted as.
What do you think of Crocodile being a girl?
Crocodile being a girl, it is definitely possible, and if it happens, I would not be opposed to it actually being canon.
Well, okay, I don't want to I don't know, we know Crocodile, and I have this idea of him in my head, but I just can't shake that it would be weird as fuck to me if he was a girl in the past.
Well,
we did get a depiction by Oda of Crocodile, because he's done all the Shichibukai, as Crocodile as a young person.
Yeah.
And he looked the same, but he could have just been a tomboy girl. We don't know, you
right.
know? And also Oda, it could have been a red herring. You know what I mean? Like how he got that Sabo, that picture of Sabo, like where he would be, the way he would look now, with Ace and Luffy. Well, I mean, that obviously wasn't canon. It was sort of just like a fantasy drawing.
Yeah.
So again, we see Crocodile as a child, and he looks like a boy, but it's still possible. Right.
And I mean, another thing that makes it seem more possible is because we see Ivankov, when Ivankov first uses his ability, he uses it on that prisoner willy-nilly, just because, turns him into a girl, and then this is probably going to sound a little sexist, but he kind of starts acting a little bit more girly after being turned into a girl.
No, dude, he does. He's like,
yeah,
and he like covers up his tits and stuff.
So it wouldn't be that far stretched to say that Crocodile was a girl and being turned into a boy, injected with the like testosterone, like high amounts of testosterone and all that, turning him into a boy probably led to his kind of aggressive nature.
That's pretty crazy. That Crocodile would have had a correlation with Aronkov.
Yeah, Ivankov.
Ivankov.
Yeah.
Ivankov.
However you want to pronounce it.
Way before even pre-time skip then. So if you just think where he is before pre-time skip, that's insane that he already knows an ex-revolutionist.
Well, it's not even before the time skip. It's before we ever meet Crocodile, which is around volume 20.
Yeah.
So,
so he's known Ivankov at least, most likely from his time as a rookie.
Yeah, that's what I would assume as
well. Just like how he knew Whitebeard from his time as a rookie as well. So he has these connections. It's possible that the world government knew what he was doing in Alabasta, and they let him do what they wanted because they viewed the Nefertari family as maybe a threat to their desires or whatever. Because the Nefertari family is a part of the world government, but they're the only family that whose royal family did not go to live at Mary Jo.
So essentially, I agree. So essentially, Vivi and them, they are celestial dragons. They just did not accept the role of celestial dragons.
Yes. So at that point, you might see the celestial dragons as seeing them as inferior, or even worse, as someone that needs to be erased in order to keep the title of celestial dragon pure or holy or whatever, however they view it. So it's quite possible that he has, similar to Doflamingo, connections to the celestial dragons.
I have one problem with that, and my what I think is that the inside the world government, there's probably conflicting ideals, because when Aokiji makes his debut and he fucking freezes Luffy and almost kills him, he doesn't kill him because he says, well, thanks for taking care of Crocodile for me. And he lets him live. So clearly there's people within the government who still are happy that Crocodile was taken down.
I wouldn't consider Akainu to be in the government, though.
It was Aokiji.
I wouldn't consider Aokiji to be in the government.
He was an admiral.
Right. He's an admiral, but he's a part of the military force. He's a part of the Marines.
Okay.
Which is more of the it kind of falls within like the executive powers and stuff like that. He's a subordinate to the government.
Okay.
So if it's obvious that people within the Marines, within the their military force, they have differing views. The three admirals stood for different views of justice, and even the new admirals are still appearing to follow suit in that they have a different view of justice. We had we have Akainu, who was absolute justice. We have Aokiji, who was basically slow justice.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kizaru, who I'm not really sure what his was.
Well, like how I mentioned earlier, I'm doing an evaluation thread. When we did Kizaru, people were mentioning that he's sort of a nice in between, where he doesn't follow his orders to a T. He kind of does what he wants, and at the same time, he does follow orders. But he's loyal to the government.
He's kind of like a balanced justice.
Exactly.
His is a balanced justice, and then we have Fujitora, the new admiral, who's very obviously kind of a blind justice type of figure.
Just let you guys know, you guys got 2 minutes, bitches.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
We could do 2 minutes. You know what? Fuck you, Nick.
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
No. 10 minutes.
Wait. 3 minutes.
No, we have a minute and a half.
Okay. Damn it. Go.
Okay, well, what we're doing for our next podcast is we will be doing a segment called Every Arc Ever, where me and Robert will be discussing an arc a piece and deciding where it falls into a master list. And eventually we're going to get the whole master list done of a little over 30 arcs. Everything will be in place. It's going to be awesome. You want to pick out of a hat really quick?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. Which one are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick Jaya.
Okay, cool. Jaya. That's a good one. That's one of my favorite arcs. Okay, and
yeah,
I got Little Garden. Nice. That's a good one.
All right.
All right, so that was fun. I had a good time. You guys have a good time?
Absolutely.
Everybody had a good time.
All right.
All right, everybody.
We shall see you guys next week.
Love y'all.
Twitter, Facebook.
All that bullshit. You know how we roll.
We're on it.
We're on it.
Alrighty, guys.
We're terrible at the whole like Twitter, Facebook thing.
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay. I'll just say this: we have a Twitter, Facebook account that you guys can comment on. Just ask us questions or whatever the fuck you want to say. If you want to talk, discuss anything, just let us know.
Nah, that was bad too.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Talk to us, bitches.
All right. We love y'all. Bye.